Are you really shy and you're afraid you won't be able to license your ideas to companies? You better watch this video because Keanu, which is extremely shy, has licensed over 60 ideas to companies, and he's going to show you how he did it. Okay, everybody, Stephen Key here with another inventRight TV interview. Keanu, thank you for coming on inventRight TV. How are you?
Hi, Steven. Long time since we've done something like this. Maybe
Well,
first time. Who knows? I don't even know.
we've known each other for a long time, but I want to start kind of at the beginning here. You were, at the very beginning, you were a member of inventRight, and we were teaching you the licensing process.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then later you became a coach, right?
Yeah, I still don't know why you guys let me in like that, but yes.
Well, we did. We let you in because you were doing such a great job. And so now, during this interview, we're going to talk about some of the things that you're doing. But the thing that's really remarkable, you've kind of jumped in this one category, knives, and you're just really doing an amazing job. You've licensed how many knives?
Well, 60 knife products, and then one in a different category altogether. But yes.
Okay. So you've licensed over 60 knife designs. How many companies is it just the one company?
No, I currently work with about 7 different companies regularly, and then I have some others that we're still flirting, still doing the dance.
You're
Yes.
still doing the dating, the dance. Okay.
Dance, yes.
All right. So before we get into some of the details, because those numbers are pretty amazing, how do you juggle 7 different companies that are in the same industry without making the other one jealous or mad or whatever? How do you do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I've never actually talked to them about this directly, but I've always felt that. And I think it is tough, but I think at the end of the day, if there's respect at the start and you're courteous to them and with clear communication, I think that goes a long way to make sure you're not stepping on each other's feet. So maintaining a strong relationship with each one, definitely.
Okay. Well, they know you're in this industry because you're dating all these other companies too. So how do you determine what company to show your designs to? Excuse me.
At the start, or when I have a new design and I got 7 there, who do I
Well,
pick?
well, let's start at the very beginning. How did you pick the first one?
Well, the first go around, I didn't know who wanted to work with me, so I found every company in that industry and I reached out to them.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're talking about 1,200, 1,400 companies. I emailed. Yeah.
Wait a minute. That many companies?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So it's a lot of fish out there.
There are a lot of fish out there. Well, okay, so you're emailing these companies and someone bites, someone says, hey, we're interested. How's that work?
Yeah, I had a few companies who came back and said, we'll take a look at what you got. And of course, I had many other companies who said, who are you, right? We don't see anything about you. We don't know who you are. No, thank you. But that didn't stop me. And ultimately, I found some people who were responsive right away. And I just went after those guys.
So, Keanu, when you were reaching out to these companies at the very beginning, you were just starting out. You didn't know who's who. I mean, how did you navigate that? Did you just pick up the phone? You send them an email? Was it something as simple as that?
Well, I had heard about all these companies before because I was just so invested into this industry as a hobby. So the companies that ultimately came back, these were companies I was well aware of already. I knew their brand, I knew their customers. I was a customer, so
Okay.
I didn't hesitate.
Okay. But now that you've been in it for quite a while and you kind of know the landscape, you know who's who, how do you
Yes.
pick one particular design to show
Yes.
to that company? Why do you pick one over the other?
Ooh. It comes down to me knowing that company well and knowing their design language, thinking it's a good fit for them. But
Okay.
I think it goes back to something that you and I have talked about a lot, which is that numbers game, right? Just being everywhere all the time. You never really know. Never really have a crystal ball.
Okay.
So I'm not afraid to send 10 designs to a company at a time, 20 designs to a company at a time, and seeing what they pick.
Okay. So wait a minute, everybody. You need to really listen to this. I think it has to do with knowing the company, and Keanu kind of knows the company. Typically, when you're first sending out your designs, probably you wouldn't do 10, but it's because of the relationship that you have, you can send them so many.
Yes, and also I feel it's part of that industry where they're open to that.
Okay.
They're very much open to that.
Okay. Wow. So you're juggling a lot of balls with all these companies to keep them all. How do you keep them all straight? Do you ever
Yeah,
send the wrong email to the wrong company by mistake?
I may have done that once or twice, but it's the mistakes that those scars that we earn that make us stronger, right? And we
Okay.
remember those. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about building prototypes. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Most of the time, we teach everyone to to build a 3D, well, to do a 3D computer generated graphic of what this could be, or maybe it works like a Frankenstein to show the functionality. But you do it very differently, don't you?
Yeah, I do all of my work on CAD, so I make all of my virtual prototypes myself. I didn't grow up being an engineer. In fact, I was they always told me you're never going to be good at math. You're not very smart. I kind of just said, we'll see. And so I just started to teach myself CAD, with YouTube and whatnot. And I'm still no expert. I'm still learning. But yes, long story short, I develop all my virtual prototypes on CAD. I'll play around with them on CAD, get them to a point where I feel like it can work. You can do some incredible things with the technology nowadays. So I'll
Okay.
get it to as perfect as I think I can, and then I'll show it to the company.
Wow. So that's a really great tool that it's kind of taking it further than a prototype, isn't it? When you do CAD.
It can, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It makes it really easy for them to take it to their next step in the process, right?
Okay.
When they go and prototype it, give it to their engineers, and then they can just grab it
So,
and go.
so Keanu, is this something that you just figured out, or other designers doing this the same thing? I mean,
Were yes, I heard
oh,
that's what they were doing, and so I said I'm going to do that.
okay, smart.
No question about it. Yep.
Very, very smart. And you're not an engineer. You just self-taught just to do that.
Self-taught, yeah, self-taught. Didn't I've never dreamed I would have been able to do something like this, but it is doable. If slowly but surely you can get there.
So knives. Let's talk about knives overall. I mean, are you a collector of knives?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I could talk to you about knives for. I could sit down with somebody and talk knives for hours. Yes, yes. It's just such
Well,
a hobby of mine.
it has been a hobby. So this is not something you decided just one day, hey, going to design knives, but you have been involved in the industry, you collect them, you know them.
Ever since I was able to, buy them legally when I turned 18 and I could go buy one, yeah, because I was gifted one from my father who passed when I was really early or when I was very young. He gave me one, and that was, a keepsake for me. Yeah, and so when I was able to buy one, I kind of went crazy and started buying knives, collecting them, starting at really, really affordable knives, right,
Okay.
just to get myself in, and then I just love the art of it. I
All
love
right.
the community over there. It's just,
So
yeah,
here's the other question too. When they put your name on the knife, don't they?
we do. We call it a knife maker's logo or a maker's mark. That's what we call it over there. Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see that, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. It's great that they celebrate the designers, and that is something that people don't understand is I guess it's kind of similar to the toy and game space, but I'm competing against all these other great designers out there. So that's a unique aspect to this industry, right? I think that you don't see in perhaps houseware or kitchen or what have you.
Do the other designers know you that you're up and coming guy? I mean, do they talk to you or do they avoid you at the trade
I
shows?
I have built some relationships with some designers out there. It is a little bit awkward, right? Because technically we're competing with each other at the end of the day. But
Okay.
I don't know. There's very interesting things that you can do when you find great people who are
All
skilled,
right.
and you can collaborate with them. So yeah.
Okay, you've got a great product idea and you want to get it to the right companies to license it so they can take it to market for you, but you want the pros to do it. We have a new program at InventRight. It's called Gateway, where we reach out to the right companies to get to the right people and make sure your product is pitched correctly so you get the licensing deal. And once the deal comes over, we're going to help negotiate it behind the scenes to make sure it's fair and balanced. So if you want the pros to do it, we're here. Please check out Gateway.
So, what about the trade shows? Can we talk about that for just a minute?
Yes.
You went to your, how many trade shows have you been to?
I've only been to one. It was long overdue. I went to it back in Atlanta last year, and life changing. I really hope I can go to Atlanta again this year. It's called the Blade Show. I missed out on a big trade show that just happened last weekend in Las Vegas, and I was watching all the social media because I had I don't know, 3 products debuting there.
And you weren't there?
I wasn't there. Yeah, I guess maybe I'm a little bit emotional or something, but I kind of like it when companies invite me out, and they didn't invite. I mean, they did, but they didn't. Not like in Atlanta. So, but I was very much regretting not going. Yeah. So
Because you had 3 that launched. We're going to show those up on the screen too.
yeah,
You had
yeah.
3 that
I
launched?
have 3 that were debuted there. One of them, I think, March is looking like it's going to release. The other one, maybe February, end of February. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Are you shy?
yes, I am. Shy, introverted. That's, I really have to, feel like I'm putting myself out there if I'm.
Well, yeah, Keanu, let's talk about that. I think a lot of inventors, entrepreneurs, maybe are a little shy too, and maybe they're not as shameless as I am. I'm willing to do just about anything, but a lot of people don't feel that way. So you can still do this. You can still reach out to companies and navigate that world, even though you're a little bit shy.
Yeah, and I kind of look at that and say, okay, that must mean I have some type of strength on the flip side of it. And so
Okay.
I'm not really one to pick up the phone. I'll use email because I'm a little bit more shy, but that buys me time to think about responses and things like that. So I try to use it to a strength.
Yeah, I think people are going to be a little surprised at that because a lot of people think you have to be a salesperson
Right.
to license ideas, but that's not true, is it?
No, I think the best salespeople are the ones who are authentic and they are able to build rapport because of that.
Yeah, let their product sell. Let their creativity sell for themselves. Sell it
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah, a
Okay.
great product sells itself. Definitely.
All right. What about licensing agreements? Now, are they all the same? All different? You probably have seen quite a few now.
I've seen quite the scale, because I work with some companies who have been around for 160 years, and then I work with others who, are up and coming. So
Okay.
obviously you're going to see some big relatively, bigger contracts, and then some that are you're just getting rolling. It's first time. Some of my licensees, they never licensed with an inventor before, and there is something nice about that too, being first, right? Kind of like being a first child, or being the first. If you're in a startup company and you're one of the vice presidents or something like that, they treat you a little bit differently than with a big company, and you're kind of a number, right? And I felt that too.
Yeah, it seems that everyone wants to chase the big company, but big companies treat you different than the smaller guys, don't they?
They do, and it's not just about the money, although that's the part that we really like. It's also about, how they treat you at the trade shows, how they treat you when you're emailing them. All of these things you don't really think about. How they prioritize your product versus other product. Bigger company, a lot more SKUs. So, these are all things that people don't talk about.
but also you have the ability to help those small companies become big companies.
And I love that aspect of it. It's so exciting. It's so exciting to see them go from one year to the next. How much growth, right? It's such an exciting. It's different. It's they're completely different, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're part of that journey with them.
Yes.
Let's talk about protection for just a minute. A lot of people are afraid that if I show my ideas, people are going to steal them. How do you handle that?
Good vetting. Being smart about who you're showing things to. Number one is the biggest thing, because I think most people think they get IP and then they can, okay, I can just show this to everybody now because I have this invisible shield that's going to protect me from harm.
Okay.
And that's the wrong way of going about it. So I make sure I vet the people I talk to well, and I know what they're going to, I have a strong feeling that they're not going to steal.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I always say the best protection is finding a company that wants to work with you.
Yes, yes,
All right.
yes.
What inspires you to create different knives? I mean, how do you do that? What is your inspiration, and when do you do it?
I think the core goes back to what a lot of inventors resonate with, which is I want something. It's not out there in the market. I don't want to wait around for somebody else to create it, so I'm going to create it, right? I think that's where it stems from at its core. But I do treat this as an art. So when I'm designing a new knife or something, I'll put the music on, I'll blast the music, right? And I'll just go to this place, this creative place where you just feel like you're exploring uncharted territory, right? It's just such a high, I guess, if you will, a feeling that I can't get anywhere else. And so it's so fun. I mean, I'm itching to go back there right now. But also, it's not always like that either. Maybe you've felt this too, Stephen, where you just get these blocks and you just don't want to do anything. And that's okay too, I've realized. And you told me that. You told me, Keanu, it's last person standing. It's a marathon. You don't just do it all the time, right? So that, and I'm constantly juggling those two motions.
So you're licensing ideas, you're working in industry, you're making a name for yourself, but you coach a lot of students at InventRight too.
I do. Yes, yes. I find that helps me be better in my own business. I find it, I am able to be exposed to things that I haven't seen before at times. And so that, I feel, gives me a broad tool set. Yeah.
How important is it for you to have that knowledge, that what you've done to help someone that's just starting out?
Well, I think like if I was a doctor but didn't know a certain thing, if I was a doctor and didn't really quite know anything about the lower half or something, right? That'd kind of be bad. So, of course, as a knife designer, there are things out there that I don't really need to know in some of those other industries, but I want to be a professional at this. I want to continue to be a professional at all of this. So,
Okay.
it's invaluable in my mind.
Now, everything sounds really rosy here. It's not, is it?
Oh my gosh, no. It's a roller coaster, like they say. It's
Okay.
every day you're fighting a battle, whether it's internally or competing wise. You're competing against. So there's all these things that are going on,
Okay.
and yeah, definitely.
Is there anything I missed?
I can't think of anything. I think we did a good job of covering everything.
I think we talked about protection. I think we talked about reaching out to companies. I think we talked about, how to do the prototypes, ups and downs, building relationships. I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
If someone was just starting out, I tell everybody, find something you truly love. Try to find something where you really love your customer. Or maybe you are the customer. You just said that, and you're designing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a big difference, especially when you're maybe overcoming some obstacles along the way. Does that help?
Picking something that you're truly passionate about. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just see too many people pick something because someone else says it's right for them, right? And they get down into the trenches and you fall off because you were never really in it from the start.
Yeah.
The passion pushes you past. I guess it's a kind of a cliche, but it's true.
Keanu, thank you for being that last guy standing, right? And thank you for being part of the community, but also thank you for coaching so many of our members at InventRight. I think they're very lucky to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's just amazing to watch how this has unfolded because I've known you for quite a while now.
Yes.
And you're really, you're making a name for yourself in one industry, which is pretty remarkable. So congratulations on everything.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, Stephen Key, inventRightTV. Keanu's killing it. You guys, if you want to get in this game of licensing ideas, keep on watching inventRightTV. Subscribe down below so we can get those numbers up a little bit and I can bring on some amazing guests as well. Keanu, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Stephen.